Welcome back to another episode along this journey of the undervalued male. This episode, we're going to dive deeper into the game plan against you. Let's start with school. I know everyone's favorite. Remember, the plan is to make you a jack of all trades, but a master of none, so you can be confused and not know what to do. Now, the first few years are absolutely needed and good for you in life because it teaches you the basics. Everyone needs to know the basics. You need to know how to read and comprehend what you're reading. You need to know math, science, English, writing, and some history. All the basics. Basic skills are necessary in life. But while you're learning the basics, you start to excel at some things that really pique your interest. The church and the government know that, but instead of you becoming great in that area, they want you to become a great slave for them. This is where the onslaught of subjects come into play, to confuse you, to overwhelm you, to the point you say, I don't know what to do or care. Bet you didn't know, for many places, this is the time they have their kids only focus on what they excel at, but not America and most of the West. Focusing on what you're great at makes you money. It makes you powerful. They want money and the power, remember? So while you're taking all these different classes at school and wondering, why am I even here? You are being bombarded by everyone telling you, you can be this, you can be that, you should be this. Oh, we really need more of that. You get introduced to a bunch of career paths. Very confusing to a teenager, right? But other things are slowly and slightly starting to happen as well. You start noticing odd and peculiar social dynamics. Some people being favored more than others. Some outcasted. Some teachers bring up political agendas. Even protests on social issues are happening at school. Do you know where you're going when you die? Is also being asked. The list goes on. Weird, right? What does any of that have to do with learning core curriculum? Well, nothing. But you're good and confused. So much so that by the time you graduate high school, you're just as confused as the day you started kindergarten. Plus, the testing. Let's not forget all those standardized testings to prove if you're a favorite student or an outcast idiot. Along with all the homework you were forced to do, all to get that A. Not so you can actually learn and understand, but so you can be trained to do as you're told for a fake and useless treat. That A or B you got in Mrs. Smith's science class, how's that working out for you today? Also, I would like to add, did you ever notice how school never actually prepared you for life? That it never taught you basic skills for actual work. Think about it. What was the point of all those years and subjects at school if it never taught you about working in the real world? If you're going to be a teacher or a scholar, sure, school makes perfect sense. But for everyone else, another huge and obvious thing school didn't teach you is economics and finance. If you're lucky, you might have taken a 9-week class, but it wasn't required. Isn't that odd? That no matter what you become, a teacher, athlete, doctor, artist, plumber, or whatever, everyone is affected by money and the economy. But it's conveniently left out of your training and programming to be a good citizen. As a matter of fact, you don't learn about taxes until your first paycheck at your first job. You would think money would be right up there with English, since it affects all of us, right? But sadly and conveniently, it's not. Kind of starting to sound like a setup, doesn't it? You're being taught and told find you a good paying job, and you'll be successful. Notice you're not being taught how to become wealthy. It seems like that is top secret, along with not being taught about loans or debt or how interest works. Just make a lot of money and live the American dream. And why do you think that? That's right. The more money the government can tax you on, and the more money you can give to a church, while also being in debt. So you're trapped and enslaved to a job forever. Was there ever a debt 101, tax 101, build your own business 101 classes? Of course not. Maybe when you get to college, but not really. So a confused, not knowing what to do, don't know how money works, not knowing who you are and what to stand for teen graduates and goes into the workforce full time, or to a university where you have to more than likely take out a big loan and yes, spend more years of your life being indoctrinated. But this time, you and possibly your parents are paying for it. Either way, what could go wrong? School also introduces you to a lot of other things that play a big role in your life, like social cues and hierarchy, cliques and divisions, peer pressure and self-confidence, sex and dominance, just to name a few. We won't go into those, but you get the point. Things that break you down and not build you up. That's all by design. For some, school swallowed them up and they didn't make it out. Some mentally never graduated and are stuck there, 45 years old and still act like they're in high school. Some, thank God, they made it out and never looked back. There was so much in school. No wonder majority of the men of the past left early or didn't go at all. Instead, they learned how to survive and thrive in this harsh world. Ask yourself, did or does school do that for you? Another big thing that school neglected to teach you and misled you on was leadership. They didn't teach you the qualities and characteristics of a leader, nor gave you the tools to lead. Listen up, every man is born to be a leader. I know we've covered this some, but man is synonymous with leader. Can't separate the two. You don't have to be a boss or a CEO, but you lead you, your house, and your business. Your business is whatever you believe you're put here to do in this life. You could work a job and have your own business. Can they be the same? Yes, but they don't have to be. We'll go deeper into that later. Now, the other thing they misled you on about leadership is being smart grade-wise doesn't make you a leader. Does it help? Sure, but it's not a requirement. Have you ever heard the phrase, A students work for C students? There are people who are extremely smart and even invented things. They are horrible leaders. Remember, school isn't trying to produce leaders. They are producing workers, enslaved sheep who do what they are told without putting up a fight. Now do you understand why deep down or on the surface you hated school? You felt like you didn't belong. It wasn't for you. You wanted to rebel and not go. Yeah, that was actually your inner manhood crying out to protect you from becoming a cog in the machine. But if school is a tactic to work against you, guess what? It can also be a tool to work for you. None of what is discussed is to turn you anti on any of these big three systems, just exposing what they are and how they operate against you. But also, you can use them to your advantage. We'll discuss how to use school as a tool further down the road. It might be too late for you, but it won't be for your children. Well, that's it for this episode. Next episode, we'll discuss how the government is used against you. Until then, see you on the next journey.